All right, welcome on into my dining room, kitchen table. I am Danielle Turner Lawrence, and I was sent a small kiln from Vevor, and I'm going to test it out. And first, let me say that the idea of having a baby kiln that actually could fire my pottery like one at a time as a test fire, especially for mid-fire glazes, would be awesome. I obviously have a large kiln, but this would hold like maybe 1 or 2 pots, and I could do tests with it. And I think I could even do raku with it, which I don't usually do, but may just try it out with this. So come along with me, and I'm going to open up this kiln and show you what you get. So I think this is 1500 watts, which it is meant to be able to go to at least cone 6 or 7. I think even maybe higher. I'll tag how high it goes. So first thing when I open the box, you get tongs. That's pretty cool. That means I should definitely be doing some raku. All right, let's see what is in the box. All right, some heavy duty gloves, again, kind of giving me raku vibes. Manual, and this is an electric melting furnace is actually what it's called. And yeah, so it has a how-to guide there. All right, comes with a cord. Note that it is a regular US outlet that it comes with. All right, let's see if we can actually get this out. Please remove this tape before use. All right, we will. All right, so first off, it is cute. Very, very cute. It is quite heavy. I don't exactly know how much it weighs, but I would probably say 30, 35 pounds. Let's see if I can move that away from under it. All right, that is actually a really sturdy handle. Okay, let's get some of this tape off here. Oh, okay, so first thing I notice, and I'll probably take a photo of it and put it up here in the corner, is it has a hole, a vent hole at the top, which would be important if you have any water content. You want to make sure steam can get out. And so that must be what that hole is for. All right. All right, so the moment you've all been waiting for, or at least I've been waiting for, a little bit dusty. Oh, that's nice. That handle goes up and down. Is to open it. So let's do that. So it's got a little bit of a lock on it there, or latch. All right, it's kind of spring loaded. Oh my goodness. It is adorable. Okay, it's definitely fire brick. You can sort of just feel that. Wow, it is so cute. Okay, it looks like it is about a little over 6, about 5.5 deep, and probably another 6, 6.5 tall. Again, I'll tag put all the details in the comments and even kind of up in the corner of the video here. So, all right. So, what do I notice? Okay, there are coils on the left, right, and top. And there also, this is the thermocouple that's there, that's on the floor of the kiln. So I'm gonna bring this outside, and I'm gonna glaze a pot, and we're gonna try it out. And I'm gonna try to put some cones in there too, so that we know exactly kind of how hot it fires, and we will see how it does. All right, so we have the kiln. It is outside. So I started to kind of put some of my cone packs in because I think this is what's really going to help me test this kiln. So first, it's incredibly small, and I'll put the dimensions here, but it is pretty tiny inside. So I have some old pieces of tiles and some, you know, some testing tiles that I use. These have actually been fired in a glaze, so they look a little bit darker. And I have my cones in there. And so they're a little out of order, but I wanted to make sure that they have plenty of room to melt and not hit anything. So this is actually cone 8. I certainly hope I don't get to cone 8, but we're going to go ahead and put that one in there. And then I have 4, 5, and 6 in the back. So, and this is actually 4, so it's going to actually fall first, and then 5, 6, and then I didn't have a 7, I just had an 8. And then I have this cute little cup that is going in. So this is 3 times honey flux, all outside and in. And then 2 times chun plum, 2 times smoky merlot, and then some more honey flux on the rim. So we will see. I think the honey flux glazes have a slightly lower melting point, so we'll hopefully get some running. I am going to put this firmly onto this little bisque tile because I don't want it to run all over my kiln shelf, and kind of move that over. Let's close it up and see what we get. All right, so there is a little bit of a spring-loaded latch here. Go ahead and put that on. Now, I have this outside. It's actually, I'm out in my back patio, and so it's on stone. Obviously, make sure you put it on something that is fire resistant. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So there is a little light, and you can hear, you can right away hear the fan coming on. And sorry, there's a lawnmower in the background. Okay, now it is not blinking like that for me. I think it is in fact just my phone. So I'm not sure if I can show you the console or not. But it says 1100 at the bottom. And the top number is what the kiln is currently at, which is 17. So this is in Celsius. I'm going to go with 1120, and I'm going to do a hold. All right, and I think that top means there's a top blinking light, and I think that means it is heating. My understanding is that this actually will heat up reasonably quickly. So we'll be back once we hit 1120 degrees Celsius and see what we got. All right, fingers crossed. All right, so it is continuing to heat. I know you can't really see because it's blinking. It's not doing that on my end. I think it's just how it's videotaping, and it's at 1101 degrees. Now 1102 degrees, on its way to 1120 degrees Celsius. I am hearing some kind of cracking and some popping inside the kiln, so certainly hope everything is doing okay in there. I'm also curious what's going to happen once I get to 1120. If it's going to just shut off or it's going to hold. I'm hopeful that it just kind of holds that temperature, because I think I'm going to plan for about a 5-minute hold. You know, 1120 is a little bit lower than I would usually want to fire to, but because it's firing so fast, I also don't want the glazes to just run right off the pot. So we will see. All right, so now you can't really tell, but it is at 1118 degrees, and it was set for 1120. But it just seems to be holding right around 1118, 1119, and it's been doing that for about 5 minutes. So I think it's reached temperature. I'm gonna see if I can actually, oh, yep, it's reached temperature, 1120. Kind of, I don't think it's gonna go anymore. So let's see if I can actually reduce it to 1050. And see if I can hold it there. For maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. All right, we're down to 1050 really quick. So this will be very interesting once it gets opened. I'm gonna go down to about 900 and kind of leave it there for maybe 5 minutes. And then I'm just gonna let it naturally cool by turning it off. So wish me luck. All right, it is almost a 950. I'm gonna go ahead actually, because the fan is on, and just go ahead and shut it down. You know, surprisingly, all of the controls stay really cool, so that's good. So I'm just gonna turn it off, and I will check it in an hour or two and see what temperature it is. Probably won't open it until it's you know, at least under about 200-ish degrees, and we'll see what we got. All right, so it's about 400 degrees, and I'm so curious, so I'm going to go ahead, probably against better judgment, and just kind of pop it open. Take a quick look. Oh my, a bunch of explosion happened. Okay, I need to just do another look. Clearly there's nothing in there that's salvageable, but all right, so note to self, I put it way too close to the door. I'm having a hard time completing my thoughts because I'm just kind of looking in there. Clearly the cone pack that I used exploded, but definitely 8 didn't melt. I can see, I think 4 and 5 are down, but 6 is not down, so I probably needed to go a little bit hotter. Definitely got it a little bit on the door. So and then I also noticed that my cookie totally broke, so definitely have to figure out something else. Maybe buying a little kiln shelf is a good idea. So the glaze didn't really develop great, but it's also not horrible. So I'm gonna let this totally cool, and then we'll take it out. All right, it's about 160 degrees in there, so definitely able for me to pick it up. So, I mean, I think my real fatal flaw with this is just the fact that it was way too close to the door, and therefore this here, you can see that, is the door has some insulation on it, and it got onto there, so really did it in both spots. But it actually looks, let's see, oh, there is some particles in there, but let's see, yeah, this is cone 5, so I didn't quite get a cone 5 firing, so definitely need to go hotter next time. My other fatal flaw was that I put cone 8 in there, and a cone 8, and I put it in some clay that wasn't hadn't been bisqued or even dried for that matter. So definitely got up to you know, that's a cone 4, so definitely got to cone 4, but again, not quite to cone 5. So I'm going to clean this out a little bit and see if I can try again. All right, I think there's definitely some definitely a potential here. All right, we are going to try again, and I'm going to make sure that this is pushed in far enough, because last time it hit the insulation here. I have cone 4, 5, and 6, or actually the other way around, 4, 5, and 6. So the front one should fall first, and the back one should fall last. All right, let's try this again. So this time we are going to go to 1160. Okay, and it's heating. Second time's a charm, maybe, hopefully. All right, I actually scooted the kiln inside because it's so late. It's about 130 degrees. I did actually peek just so I could make sure I could scoot it inside. And surprisingly, it looks great. That's cone 4, 5, and 6. So it looks like it was a pretty perfect cone 6 fire. So I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I completely unload it, but that looks pretty good. Has a good melt on it. Looks like a good glossy finish. So this was 1160 degrees Celsius with about a 7-minute hold at its top temp. So yeah, and then I just turned it off afterwards. So I didn't try to downfire it at all. So, all right, I'll be back once this cools off and we can take it out. All right, I thought I would just summarize things after the firing in the Vevor melting furnace, show you the results just one last time, and then just give you my conclusion. So this was our first fire. Definitely glazes melted. This went to about a cone 4. This was done at 1120 degrees with a short hold there and a down fire. I'll actually put the exact specifics up here in the corner, but this is nice. It definitely did not melt much and got way too close to the door, and I took some of that insulation with it. So that was a me problem, not a kiln problem. All right, and then lastly, my second fire turned out awesome. Check out that glaze. That looks awesome. So this is 3 times Flex Blossom, 2 times Midnight Run, and then just a little bit more Flex Blossom on the rim. And that fired in the melting furnace to a pretty perfect cone 6. So if you look at my cones here, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. So you can see there those two together. Got a great cone 6 fire. I put it on some stilts. So, my take home with this kiln is pretty simple. I think if you are just starting out in pottery, you want to be able to have a very wee small kiln at home to fire 1 or 2 little things at a time. I think this is perfect. This fired in like 2 hours, went up to temperature in under an hour, and was down and reasonably cool to pop the lid after a little over an hour. So this works pretty great. So if you put the fact that you can get a Vevor wheel for $100 and you can get this melting furnace for another 300, and that allows you to do small things at home while you practice doing pottery, I think that seems like a pretty fun thing to do. So yeah, check it out. Check it out for yourself. Definitely requires a little bit of testing, and I definitely don't think there's a lot of opportunity to do complex things in it, but to bisque, to luster fire, and to use glazes, especially flex glazes that have maybe a slightly more drippy melting point, seems to work great. So hope this helped. And if you're interested, you can see the links below for links to the products. All right, take care.